Good morning, happy Friday. Today's reading is a little different. It's building on the month of love that we're entering. I love that it has been expanded to include a holiday now referred to as Galentine's Day, which is the day before Valentine's Day. And I love that we realize that love is not just romantic love, so now there's this push for you to also celebrate your family with Family Day as well as Valentine's Day. A lot of restaurants are doing meal boxes, and I also ordered like a baking cookie box as the family. So it's not just romantic love. It's spread to the whole month of celebration of all the different kinds of love we have in our life. So today's reading is a gift of the heart, letting people know that you love them. It's easy to take our feelings for granted and assume the people we care about know how we feel about them. While they are often cognizant of our feelings, saying I love you is a gift we should give our loved ones whenever we can. Letting them know how we feel about them is an important part of nurturing any kind of loving relationship. And there's been a lot of memes and information on social media saying how now more than ever, because we can't be together and use the physical language of love like hugs, cooking, favors, you should be using the words with all of the friendships and life and relationships that impact you. There was an article that I shared the other day, and it was really sad. It was how many different relationships we didn't realize we actually have with other people that have fallen away in the past year, and that would be like with your barista, and maybe there were a couple neighbors that you really connected with. Impromptu play dates with someone you met at the dog park. So all these levels of friendship, and I keep saying the word relationship, that didn't necessarily come on your radar, but they're missing from our day-to-day lives. So the ones that you do see, whether it's online or in person, make sure that you tell them you love them. Few tire of being told they are loved, and saying I love you can make a world of difference in someone's life. Take a relationship to a new level or reaffirm and strengthen a stealth bond. Everyone needs to hear I love you. These simple words, 3 simple words, I love you. When you declare your love for others, you proclaim that you care about them in the most significant way. It can be difficult to convey your affections using words, particularly if you grew up in a home of people who never expressed it verbally. But you should never be afraid to say I love you. I also was thinking that it's not something that you have to shy away if you didn't do before. There are people that I never said that, but obviously I felt this deep love for them as a friend, and we never maybe expressed it before, and now I'm tiptoeing out there and saying it as I could get off the phone with them, or mailing people Valentines who I normally wouldn't have considered before. You should never be afraid to say I love you or worry that doing it will thrust you into a position of excessive vulnerability. It's important to share your feelings with those who matter to you. Part of the fulfillment that comes with loving someone is telling them that you do. Love exists to be expressed, not withheld. Imagine what the world would look like if you went around thinking that you loved all these people, but no one ever expressed it. If you care for someone, let them know. Don't be afraid of the strength of your emotions or worried that your loved one will not feel the same way. I love you is best said to another without an expectation of a return on this investment. Since each one of us is filled with an abundance of love, there's an infinite amount. There's never any concern that you will run out of it, and these words are not, if they're not repeated back to you. Saying I love you is a gift of the heart sent directly to the heart of the recipient. Even though it may not always look this way, it's an offering that's always unconditional and given without strings attached. This is the true essence of the gift of I love you. So today we're going to give a bit of love to the upper part of our body, kind of the side body. I'll just move that. I was thinking, the more we sit, I often will say our rib cage is like an accordion. Gravity pushes down so much so that a lot of truckers, they're a sponge between the bones in our spine. Just from sitting all day, every day in a car or a truck has a different level of compression. I don't know if it's also because of the ground. And there's a lot of back injuries and surgeries required for people whose job is to sit all day. And then I was thinking how many people I know over the age of 40 who have constant back problems. And when you look at our lives, from the moment we're in kindergarten till we graduate high school, we're sitting. Then if you go on to post-secondary school, you're sitting for another 4 to 6 years. Then what do we aspire to? A well-paying job, and a lot of the well-paying jobs are sitting or standing. And so I think of this
as my spine. Bone, tissue, bone, tissue, bone, tissue. What happens is right now there's a lot of space and they can move freely. Gravity, my body weight, the air pressure in the room, pushes them all together and compresses that tissue between the bones. So think of that same level of compression on my rib cage, my side body. I slump everything down and I'm not getting my optimal energy or air, prana. Today I want to focus on sitting up nice and straight, and even just doing that right now feels foreign. Take a moment. Let's take our arms up for a moment. How long could you stay here? We're so used to, imagine you're grabbing onto a monkey bar. We're so used to compressing everything down that the idea of extending up doesn't feel so natural. I've mentioned this in class before that I was following this one physiotherapist, and they said our generation never does this action. This idea of hanging from a tree. Not that we were monkeys, but that we used to do a lot more outdoor physical things. And even when you're children, you hang from monkey bars more. I noticed that decreased a lot when my son was in school. There was this discouragement of using the playground equipment. So that idea of lengthening doesn't come up in our daily lives. I remember reading when, I can't remember his name, he's Canadian, Brendan Fraser was training to do a Tarzan movie. To train to have the same muscles someone would have had from hanging from trees, he did a lot of his workouts were hanging from monkey bars because it developed a different kind of muscle and strength. As we age, trying to reach something high up or even get our shirt on becomes really challenging because the flesh shirt that we wear tightens and shrinks. So today we're going to come back to upper body, some shoulder work, and some side body stretching for more breath. By the way, Lena says hi. I was ready to see how she's doing, and she misses everybody in yoga. Especially the morning people will remember Lena. So let's come to the mat, bum to the heels, and lean the back all the way down. Arms by your side, palms turned up. Slide your legs straight. The first thing I want to do is a nice big stretch. How long can you make yourself? Imagine you could create 2 more inches down the side body, that the ribs would expand like a paper lantern. Lengthen, 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 lengthen. Maybe even have somebody grab your wrists and somebody grab your ankles. If you have any people sitting around doing nothing at home, it feels delicious. Gently pull, 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 and soften. Once more. Toes point, arms reach, pull, 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 and often I'll engage my glutes here to help this, and release. Another variation is you can move the legs wide and then the arms wide. So our body's like an X. And now you're reaching out in all the opposite directions and release. Now we're going to stretch only right arm, left ankle, release. Left arm, right ankle, release. There's that diagonal X stretch. Back to center once more. Lengthen, 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 lengthen. And then maybe keep your legs with the arc the upper body to the right. Stretching the left side ribs. Legs where they are, arms to the left, stretching the right side ribs, and back to center. Arms by your side. Bring your knees into your chest and rock side to side. And this piece is also a side body stretch when we do our double leg spinal twist. So drawing the knees in as deeply as you can, press the back into the floor. Each time I breathe out, I'm able to press my back even further into the floor, adding a nice stretch to the spine and the lower back and hips. Taking your knees to the floor on the left, double leg spinal twist, and I'm going to take my arm out to the side. Look at the ceiling. Oh, there, it's got a nice crack. Gravity did its thing. There's that diagonal stretch again, right shoulder all the way over to my right knee on a line. Option to pull those knees in tighter. Option to anchor that right shoulder further down to the floor. Back to center, little boat or egg beaters. Let's take our knees to the floor on the right, double leg spinal twist. Left shoulder opens to a T, you might hear a crack. So now there's that diagonal stretch again. Left shoulder down the side to my left knee. Sometimes it feels good also to have somebody at home press down on this open left shoulder, and then one hand is gently pressing down on the knee. So there's a lengthening here. Back to center. Double leg wind relieving pose. Pull those legs in tight. Keep the thighs together. And then help them pull wide for a moment. Hands on your knees. Pause here. Close the legs, right leg in, left leg slides straight. First I'm gonna flex and press the left heel down, then point and flex, point and flex. Fan the toes, roll out the ankles. And now I'm thinking of creating space within each joint so that I have more mobility in all my poses and throughout my day. Drawing right leg in as deeply as you can. Option to come in on a diagonal, draw it in, or take it out to the side, forward and back. Left hand takes right knee over, single leg spinal twist, and you're going to keep the shoulder girdle glued down. This is the key stretch for our upper body, upper back, down that right rib cage. This is another pose where sometimes I'll hear a crack. If you go to chiropractor regularly, they'll often have you do this while they press into something on your spine to give you an adjustment. Another variation of the single leg spinal twist we don't do often is to bend that left foot towards you, grab it, and then, oh, we haven't done this in a while. I think Franca used to do this one. Oh, yeah. So while I'm doing this, I'm getting a deep quad stretch on the left side while there's a spinal twist on the right. Release, back to center, double leg wind relieving pose. Press the back down instead of coming to little boat. See if you can add compression instead. Left leg in, right leg extends. Let's flex and point a few times, waking up the hip and the ankle. Option to add a couple in and outs of the left side, so we're helping that hip one direction and the other. Finally, right hand takes left knee over, single leg spinal twist. Left shoulder's anchored. Option to keep that right leg straight. I'm going to do this for 2 breaths. Option to add that final piece. Bending the right foot towards you, grab the toe or the top of the foot, and we call this pretzel. Oh, yeah. Back to center, little boat or circles. Legs wide once more, and let's take 2 breaths here, pausing. What if you could accept that this was it for Happy Baby? For some of us, we don't need our bodies to come to the full expression. Each step of the way offers something else to your body. Here, I'm feeling just my inner thighs, inner hips. Option to come into setup for Happy Baby, so that the feet are stacked over the knees, they're still wide, and I'm adding a bit of compression or counter pressure behind the thighs. Shoulders pressed down. If this is it, stay here. If not, come into full Happy Baby. And some of us, depending on the tightness of our hips or the length of our arms, are not going to come into full Happy Baby. And then take the soles of the feet together, pause here. And releasing the feet to the mat, arms into cactus, hang out here. Close your legs, thighs to chest, rocking side to side or circles, no hands, keeping the belly glued to the spine and the spine glued to the floor. Slowly raise your feet in the air, keeping them together. And notice that core and thigh working together. We talk about that connectivity between these muscles and my stomach muscles. And the simplest way to experience that is to flex these feet, engage the core, and notice how much is happening. You can't isolate the work of the legs, the hips, and the stomach. They are all together. Maybe they're commiserating together. So I might do a few circles here, one direction and the other. Keeping it small and flexed is a little bit more muscular effort. Option to take it a little bigger. Keeping your back glued, everything flexed, and I'm noticing this becomes a little more work. And then back to center. So if you enjoy that, you're gonna do more than what we just did. Strap on your belly, hands interlaced behind the right leg, and flex and lower the left leg. Point and flex. Fan the toes. Roll at the ankle. Maybe give yourself a little massage. The calf, the thigh, hamstring especially. Strap to the ball of the left foot. And we start that swirling motion again, stirring the right leg within the hip. Back to center, both straps in the right hand. Left hand anchors left hip and release out to the side. Pause. I'm hitting the wall. Maybe that's where I'm meant to go. Left arm to a T. Now I want to engage my glutes, so clench your bum, flex your feet. Everything's anchored and taut, but also stretching at the same time. Right leg to the sky, strap into the left hand, flex, take it across the midline. Maybe a little further. Back to center, get rid of the strap, little boat or egg beaters. Feet in the air, flex. Right leg's gonna lower all the way down. We're gonna support the left leg. Even that act of supporting creates a bit of a stretch down the left hamstring. And then you want to give yourself a little massage. Point and flex, roll up the ankle. Fan the toes. Strap to the ball of the left foot. Let's take this a little further. Choosing stillness or stirring that leg. One direction and the other. Both straps on the left hand, and let that leg fall out to the side. Right arm to a T. Strap to the sky, strap in the right hand, and take that leg right across the midline. Sometimes I'll close my eyes and notice that the transition piece is where the stretching is happening. It also is like someone tapping you on the shoulder and saying, are you taking enough care of certain body parts? I can feel this in the glute and the IT band, so maybe we need to do more of that next week. Back to the sky, get rid of the strap, little boat or egg beaters. And we're going to take right over left. Hands on opposite knees and pull those thighs into your belly. You have an option to stay here or walk the hands further down. Everyone's hips are different. But key here is hips and shoulders super squared off, staying on the floor. And then release, shake it out. Left over right, line up the thighs and knees, pull it in. And release, shake it out. Let's roll it to our side and take a pause there. And then pressing upright, we're going to come into extended child's pose. This is another good one for stretching the upper back. I'm going to start in Sphinx. Bum is in the air, arms are bent at the elbow. Spread the fingers. Remember, these forearms are equal distance apart, just stacked underneath each shoulder and bicep. Even this action, leave your bum in the air and try to press your chest to the floor. I'm going to look forward initially, really good stretch for the back of my neck. Oh my. Not everyone is going to come this low. Option to take your forehead to the mat instead if that feels better on your neck. Do I like this version? Option to lift your elbows and try to bring your chest to the floor. and then come back to normal child's pose. So bum to heels. I'm going to come back into Sphinx. Let's take our, can we do this without? Let's take one elbow to the mat, then the other. Actually, let's come into prayer hands. We'll do this before we come to that. And press the palms into each other, waking up the biceps in the back, and press your bum back. Forehead tries to come to the mat between where the inner elbows are. Big stretch of the spine and shoulders. Now, if my hands can't touch, what would have happened if I came over here? That's not bad. Sphinx, but wide, and bring your forehead down. Let's come back to the prayer hands, press the bum back. While you're in prayer hands, can you leave the elbows down and take your prayer hands to the ceiling above your head? Oh my. So that's going to be pretty intense on the back of each bicep and where the shoulder connects. Palms press into each other, heart presses towards the thighs of the floor. Some of you can take your thumbs to the place of your neck, the back of your neck, where the neck and the shoulders almost connect. And then come back into Sphinx. We'll do a quick dolphin. So coming into tabletop, Sphinx, tuck your toes, look forward, press those forearms down, and maybe the knees lift 1 or 2 inches and hang there. Option to stay here or bum in the air, maybe look between your elbows or to your feet. Option to come into full dolphin, and I know we haven't done this in a while, my shoulders are telling me. Option to come forward and back, forward and back. If that's impossible doing the dolphin, you're going to come into half plank, same thing, or stay in tabletop and come forward and back, forward and back. Awesome. Okay, we are not going to do our normal sun salutations. Oh, where did the candle go? But let's do a quickie plank. Coming into the mat, toes tuck, step back, high plank. And do you feel like it's getting a little easier? Or Eva's doing it every day. You're going to press the floor away, waking up the space between the shoulder blades. Head is in line with the spine because you're staring at the top of your mat. Inhale 1, exhale. Inhale 2, exhale. Inhale 3, exhale. Inhale 4, exhale. Inhale 5, exhale. Can we get to 10? Inhale 6, engage the core. Exhale. Inhale 7, exhale. 10 more seconds. Inhale 9, exhale. Inhale 10, exhale, press into downward dog, pedal. Oh, or keep the heels up and press your heart towards your thighs. Option to walk the feet in, and this is a chance to do a really deep stretch of the hamstrings. Heels drop if that's available to you. Knees might bend slightly, and press your heart towards your thighs. Undo, extended child's pose. I'm going to keep my bum down as much as I can and walk my extended arms to the left, keeping them shoulder width apart. Head drops. Press into that side rib. Oh. And back to center. Let me see if I have enough space. Extended child's pose. Arms walk to the right, extended. Elbows are still elevated. And press your bum and hips to the left. Oh my. Back to center. I can't believe how stiff that pose is for me, which means we don't do it enough. So next week, I gotta remember, more of that stretch. Okay, let's do this one more time. Lengthen, walk to the left. Lengthen, walk to the right. And once more, forehead down, arms behind you, traditional child's pose. And I can feel this big gap. My bum is not coming to my heels because of tightness. That's where having somebody sit on my lower back would feel great. Starfish on a rock and come back up. Okay, let's quickly do a couple side body things. We're not even going to get to all the work I wanted to do. Side body, first I'm sitting up nice and straight, arms to the sky, reach up. Oh.
Hold that imaginary beach ball, and you're gonna lengthen that ball up to the sky. I'm looking up slightly because guess what that's gonna do? Help the back of the neck. Lengthen up, maybe arc it behind you a little, and back to center. Pass the ball to the left without going too far, center, and then pass to the right. Release your arms. Now I want to stretch one side specifically, so left palm down, right arm up, lengthen, answer the question. Bicep is facing in, blade of my hand is facing in. What that is an external rotation of my bicep. Lengthen, diagonal stretch. So imagine that right hip is anchored and there's a deep diagonal stretch. And then if I want to go to the next level, I'm going to walk this left hand further, bend elbow, arc. Look at the ceiling, under that bicep, or even take your hand to the base of your skull and pull back the shoulder, elbow to the ceiling. Undo, tiny spinal twist. One direction, then the other. Switch legs, that was one side. Left hand down, right arm up, answer the questions. First is a straight stretch. Did I do this right? Now on a diagonal. I feel like we already did this side. Right hand down, left hand up. Where is Liz counting for me when I need her? Lengthen up, that's straight. Then diagonal, lengthen from that left hip bone up the left side. Flex palm, the blade of that hand is facing into the center. And then final piece, arc, ballet class. Maybe look at the ceiling or hand at the base of the skull, shoulders back. And this is great for some of you who have some health challenges with your feet or legs at this moment. Undo, tiny spinal twist. Back to center. Quick cat-cow while we're sitting. Palms on my knees, shoulders back, chest forward. You might hear a crack. And then come into cow. Cat, cow. Let's interlace our hands, press the palms away. Up. Press the palms to the ceiling, and imagine you could try to pull your hands away from each other, but it's not happening. And release. I'm going to take out one leg and bring the right leg in. So my cousin just had a baby, a little baby boy, and I was trying to think, I'm asking all my friends who've had children, what was the most special or useful thing you received as a gift? Because it's so easy to pick up clothes everywhere. But the moment that the baby wears those clothes is so fleeting. The time goes by so quickly, they're never going to remember what clothing you gave them. Left hand to left leg, straight up, arc, diagonal, arc, option to try to touch that toe, option to bring left arm inside and try to touch that toe, or take hand to the base of the skull, elbow to the sky. Why I show you all these is not that I'm expecting you to do them all, but I'm showing you the different elements of if I had enough stretched side body to do them. In yoga, there are poses that are considered pinnacle poses. When I show you the full expression, it's not a goal, it's not I'm expecting you to do it. It's just almost like a test. If I'm not able to go to the full expression, what's tight in my body, what habits are manifesting in my body. I'm going to turn to that left leg and fold. So please let me know, as a grandparent or a mother or an aunt or a friend, what was your favorite gift you received or gave. Roll up the ankles. And here's the other problem. My cousin has a very tiny, small apartment. She and her husband do not have a lot of space, and they are starving artists and don't plan on having a lot of space. Right foot flexed. Let's take right hand to right leg, left arm up, answer the question. Arc, diagonal. Arc, and this side is so much different for me than the other. I can't even barely get over here. I might bring my right arm inside the leg, which gives me a bit more space. I'm kind of cheating this pose. I might take my hand to the base of my skull. Oh, you might take your hand to your lower back, and then come on out. Oh. And roll out the ankles. And I often explain why we don't have super long classes is there's a lot of technical stuff that you're not seeing, that anything much more than 30 minutes unfortunately creates, it then would take almost a whole day to upload each class. So I want to get it to you in a timely manner. Okay, Let's take our strap. If you don't have a strap, you're holding a towel. You're holding a pole, like from a broom. If you need to pause this, do that. And this is one of my favorite shoulder upper body stretch poses. First, I'm going to take the strap only the width of my shoulders. So trying to keep it contained. We talk about containment of the shoulder girdle. I'm going to tear the strap and release. Tear and release. Tear and release. Maybe I'm going to go a little higher. Tear and release. Tear and release. Maybe I'm going to go a little higher. Tear and release. Maybe I'm going to go side to side. What's happening down the side of the body? I call this my cheerleader. Maybe I'm going to pull the elbows down so that my face and spine is staying straight, head is stacked. I like to pretend I'm pulling weights down behind me. Amazing for the shoulders and the back of the body. Oh yeah. Up and down. Can I keep my wrists straight? I don't know. Just keep resisting yourself. Last variation, and again, you're not expected to do full expression. You might come up to the ceiling, you might go a little wider, you might take it further back, and I can feel my pecs there, so I'm going to hang out there for a breath. Now my shoulders are hypermobile, so this is completely not everyone's level or version. I'm going to do that 2 more times. Inhale up. Option to come a little further back without jutting the belly or the chin out. Some people do the same pose holding the door frame and pulling their chest forward. Does it not feel like locust? And one last time, inhale up. And you're going to decide whether you're taking it over or not. Release. One last shoulder pose. Let's do this one. Palms together, elbows are bent at the elbow like cactus. Slowly open and close. So you might do this. Not all of us are going to be able to reach this. Then I'm going to turn it into eagle. So I have my bent elbows right into left, bind. If I'm not binding, they're back to back, or this variation. And you might lift it up and down like a little elevator. Release. Other side. Cactus arms, close, left over right, bind. Oh my, this side is much tighter. Up and down a little. Release. Today's reading to close off, let's see what we have. Attracting abundance. I'm very fortunate that a lot of you in my classes are already pretty comfortable with the life that you have abundantly in terms of material, health, time with your family. Not everyone has everything that they need. So we often talk about what I put out there is what I get. So is there something that you're lacking in your life? Quite often you have to actually think about it. One of my friends wants to do a vision board soon. And I've always wanted to, A, because I love arts and crafts, but B, the idea that I'm physically putting it out there what I want to get out of life. Every human being is the author of his own health or disease. Buddha. I say that, but then I think about my mother, who was the most generous, giving person in the world, who was plagued with MS for over 35 years and ultimately died from it. So do I fully believe that? I don't know. You're going to decide what works for you. Why isn't this working? I do believe, we talk about this often, everything that you put in your mouth can either lengthen your life or shorten your life. You might want to think about that. Everything in moderation. Thank you so much for your effort. The good in me sees the good in you. Namaste.